Peace and Pan-Africanism. Judge Clarence Thomas, who is definitely Samuel L. Jackson on Django. Judge Clarence Uncle Thomas, who is definitely Samuel L. Jackson on Django, wants to go around repealing laws that they feel are unconstitutional. Word on the street, the white feminists want school desegregation laws repealed. The white feminists want the Voting Rights Act repealed. White feminists wants the Civil Rights Bill repealed. White feminists want the Housing Act repealed. They said if you're going to take away their right to get an abortion, then you must take away black children's right to go to school with white kids. You must take away black people's right to live in white neighborhoods. You must take away black people's right to vote. You must take away all civil rights protections from black people. This is what the feminists are saying. I hope black women are paying attention. I hope black women are paying attention. I hope black women are paying attention because you stood in unity with the white feminists. You black feminists stood in unity with the white feminists. You black feminists stood in solidarity with the white feminists. And now your white feminist sisters are turning their backs on you. And now your white feminist sisters are turning their backs on you. They're saying if they can't get abortions, you can't live in a white neighborhood. Your children should not be going to school with white kids. You have no right to any civil rights protections, and you have no right to vote. The white feminist is telling the Supreme Court, if you're going to turn back women's rights, you must turn back black rights. The white feminists are saying, if you're going to turn back women's rights, you have to turn back the rights of American Africans. Let me ask a question to Judge Clarence Thomas, who is definitely the vanguard for this new conservative Supreme Court bench. Clarence Thomas, may I ask you a question? Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, may I ask you a question before I hop off the live? I'm talking to Judge Tom, Django in the flesh, Snow Bunny Clarence Thomas. I have a question for you. Since you want to repeal laws that were written for so-called minority groups, will you also be seeking to overturn the Supreme Court interracial marriage decision? I want to know if Clarence Thomas is going to also fight to overturn 1967 Loving versus Virginia, because you want to undo voting rights, you want to undo the Housing Act, you want to undo school desegregation, you want to undo abortion, you want to undo all of these. My question to Judge Tom, are you also going to seek to overturn Loving versus Virginia, June 1967, 10 months before they assassinated Dr. King? Will you be seeking to overturn Loving versus Virginia? And the reason I'm asking you this, Mr. Django, the reason I'm asking you this, Mr. Django, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Tom Ass, the reason I'm asking you this question, Mr. Tom Ass, is because you are married to a snow bunny. You are married to a snow bunny. Your wife is former President George W. Bush's cousin. Your wife is former President George W. Bush's cousin. So since you want to repeal voting rights and you want to repeal school desegregation, you want to repeal the Housing Act, you want to repeal the Civil Rights Act, how about repealing Loving versus Virginia? How about repealing the Snow Bunny Act of 1967? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. Clarence Thomas don't want to talk about that. Clarence Thomas don't want to talk about repealing the Snow Bunny Act. What about the Supreme Court Snow Bunny decision, Judge Clarence Thomas? June 1967, the U.S. Supreme Court said no state had a right to impose laws against interracial marriage. The Supreme Court said that everyone in the country has a constitutional right to the Snow Bunny crisis. In June of 1967, the United States Supreme Court said that every American has a right to the Snow Bunny crisis. So since you're married to a snow bunny, and since you want to overturn everybody else's rights, how about overturn the right that affects you? How about overturn 1967 Supreme Court decision in Loving versus Virginia? How about you overturn that? The Snow Bunny Act of 67, the Snow Bunny Supreme Court decision of 1967. Where's Clarence Thomas on that? Where is Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court Loving versus Virginia interracial marriage decision of June 1967? 55 years ago, 55 years ago, the Supreme Court outlawed any still existing laws against miscegenation. Clarence Thomas is married to a snow bunny. Is he willing to overturn the Supreme Court decision of June 1967, Loving versus Virginia, which gave birth to the snow bunny crisis? I bet you he won't touch that. He'll touch abortion. He'll touch civil rights. He'll touch voting rights. He'll touch the Housing Act. He'll touch school desegregation, but I promise you, he will not touch Loving versus Virginia, 1967. I promise you that Negro pen will not touch the Snow Bunny decision of the Supreme Court. Brothers and sisters, I smell hypocrisy. Brothers and sisters, I smell a contradiction. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, live and direct, Fort Worth, Texas, live and direct, Fort Worth, Texas. I am pro-life. I am pro-life. But that doesn't mean I'm not concerned about black women who are going to be getting back alley abortions because they can't afford to pay for them or the state outlawed them. Okay? It doesn't mean I'm concerned about black women who get raped and want to terminate the baby as a result of rape. I can't resist that sister's decision in a case like that. She might take her own life if she's not allowed to terminate that baby. She was raped. I am a pro-lifer. My issue is not the overturning of Roe versus Wade. That's not my issue. My issue is this is just the beginning. They want to see if they can get away with Roe versus Wade. They want to see if they can get away with Roe versus Wade. They want to see if they can get away with Roe versus Wade. And if they do, they coming for everybody else. Rainbow Gang is next. Same-sex marriage is next. And once they take care of the white folks, they're going to come for the black folks. Once they take care of the white folks, they're going to come for the black folks. They're going to save the best for last. Once they're done with the white folks, they're going to come for the black folks. They're going to save the best for last. Hit the Cash App for the Shockumentary, $DrUmarJohnson. Hit the Cash App for the FDMG Festival, $FDMG School. It's time for a mini nap, family. King Kong, I'm in the building. Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, let's get it. Black Power.